us at Lend a Helping Hand Brunch benefiting Blanchet House. We're so happy you're spending your morning with us. There are some ways you can have a great time today. One is help yourself to coffee or tea. It's out in the foyer. And visit in the lobby to chat with our staff, see our farm products and our children's books. And you can visit the care kit table in the foyer as well to pack a care kit to help someone experiencing homelessness today. Be sure to snap your photo with your kit and share it to help raise awareness for Blanchet House. If you're interested in volunteering in our cafe, today only we're offering volunteer shift sign-ups right next to the photo area. And folks, if you haven't yet, we have $50 opportunities to buy a raffle ticket. There will be 2 winners. Our grand prize is an 8-night stay at a private home in Waimea, Hawaii, plus airfare. Second prize is a 5-night stay in beautiful Bend. So remember, each $50 entry gives you 2 chances to win. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy your morning. And let's say thank you to our beautiful musical guest, Misty. Folks, we have just 15 minutes left in today's social hour, so if you have not yet gotten yourself some coffee, tea, or juice, please do so at this time. Again, if you haven't yet purchased your Waimea or Bend raffle tickets, these are $50 opportunities. Remember, our grand prize is 8 nights in Waimea, Hawaii, plus Alaska airfare. Our second prize is a 5-night stay in a beautiful Bend home. So every $50 entry gives you 2 opportunities to win. Again, folks, if you haven't yet packed a care kit, please do. You can help someone experiencing homelessness this morning. Make sure to take a photo of yourself with your kit and share it on social to raise awareness for Blanchet House. If you're interested in volunteering in our cafe, there's also a sign up we're offering today only in the foyer. Again, folks, we've got just 15 minutes left in our social hour. For those of you needing more time for buffet service, the buffet is open. Blanchet House staff will come and release you by tables. Thank you. Morning, everybody. We have just 5 minutes left in our social hour today, so this is the perfect time to refill your coffee or your drink. Make sure you score one of our $50 raffle tickets, enabling you to win 8 nights plus airfare in Waimea, Hawaii, or second prize is 5 nights stay in beautiful Bend. Again, if you haven't yet packed a care kit to help someone experiencing homelessness, you can do that in the foyer. Be sure to take a photo with you and your kit and share it to help raise awareness for Blanchet House. There are also volunteer signups happening today only in the foyer. Again, folks, we have just 5 minutes left in our social hour. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. At this time, we invite you into the ballroom if you're not already in here. You can find your table assignment on your bid card. For those of you in line, please know you can stay right where you are for this next part, but it is my honor to introduce Father Gary Smith to the stage. So please quiet your conversations and turn your attention to the stage for our blessing. You're welcome to remain right where you are. As a Jesuit, Father Gary truly exemplifies a man for others. His parish is not a church. It's the streets outside Blanchet House, where he is an ally and confidant to people in crisis and alone. And for over 60 years, he has devoted his life to serving these people. Please welcome Father Gary Smith.
So I'd ask you just to be quiet with me as I say this prayer and try to cover all the bases of the great heart of Blanchet. Our loving God, in whom we live and move and have our existence, we begin these moments with you offering our prayers for the Blanchet enterprise of love. We commend to you all who are present this morning, asking your blessing on our humble efforts to sustain and affirm Blanchet's service. May all of us find your justice in our deeds and your truth and love and our compassion. Pour your blessings out upon the Blanchet House staff, our dear sweet staff. Gather their hearts to your heart of love. Bless them in their moments of giving and care and their moments of success and discouragement. Nurture the love that drives them in their self-giving as they live out their unique kind of care and affirmation. Eternal God, you who are the author of the heart's response to the call of service, we commend to you the endless line of volunteers who incarnate your love for those who come to Blanchet for food and hope. Watch over them, care for them, protect them, continue to instill in them your embrace of the least of the brothers and sisters, and let them walk away each day with a sense of singular dignity which their care has brought to the streets of Old Town. We pray for our peer support people, Holy God, who give of their hearts and knowledge of the Blanchet enterprise. Affirm them, bless their efforts, continue to transform the lumber of their lives into a temple and the works of their attention for Blanchet House guests into a song of love. We pray for those who serve as security men and women, who bring their strength and power and wisdom. Protect them, guide them. May they both be power of peace and the power of care as they bring a sense of protection to the daily ebb and flow of Blanchet House meals. Lord God, look with love upon the residents of Blanchet House. May their days here be powered by your grace, the grace of peace, of insight, of strength, of hope. Let the light that brought them here fill them with the hopes of directions and self-love and thanksgiving. And may their growth be a source of hope for their loved ones and all those in the Blanchet program who seek to reclaim the authenticity of their lives. Our Heavenly Mother and Father, in all this, we ask you to show us how to care for those men and women on the streets whom we serve, those who are hungry and homeless, those without proper medical care, those who suffer from the slings and arrows of addiction, those who are lost in the wilderness of loneliness, those who are prisoners of pain and victims of the careless. Show us how to be instruments of your healing and growth. To you, O God, author of wealth and gifts, we commend to you our benefactors, those behind the scenes who build bridges of life over rivers of suffering. They are hearts that change hearts. Remind them always that their gifts are transformed into love and care and direction and hope for an endless line of human beings who come to Blanchet House. They are an oasis of meaning in the desert of deprivation. Finally, we ask your blessing and direction on our Blanchet Board of Directors, on those staff called to lead us. May they have vision for future directions and the hard-nosed courage of significant decisions. We pray finally for peace in Portland, for all those who are instruments of peace and for peace in our country and our world. We begin these moments and live these moments, and in these moments, trusting in your presence and your care and inspiration for the best that is in our hearts. We ask all this in your holy name. Amen.
thought we were doing it, but I also have a lot of questions about this movement. So I still have a lot of questions about what we're doing. So it'll be. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff, but I have more questions. Like, I felt like it was really good. There's just some surprises for me. Like a couple, not much. But why don't you guys go ahead and get packed up? I'm stuff like that. I don't mind playing the game. Don't worry about it. All is really fine. It'll be less awkward to be like leaving and stuff. That's okay. We're just a little worried that she's been by herself. You guys go ahead. She has to go. She's a teacher. Yeah, this week sometime this week. Hi. Switch and drop. Go halfway circle, touch the bar. Oh yeah, he did his releases.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Blanchet House Lend a Helping Hand Brunch. I'm so glad to have you here today with us. We thank you for being here. Please join me in giving a round of applause to our outstanding musicians, Misty Remix. Thank you. For those of you who I have not met, my name is Rich Ulring. Blanchet isn't simply an organization my family supports. It's woven in our lives. I've had the privilege of serving on the board of directors for 24 years. There may be some on that board say it's time to go, Rich, but for now. Anyway, from leadership to rolling up our sleeves to volunteering, my family is deeply committed to this mission. My father-in-law, Dan Harrington, and his brother, Bernie Harrington, were some of the founders. So that's the connection for my table over here. This work has been a true community effort here at the Blanchet House. Your generosity today and throughout the years is what makes Blanchet Aid to Others possible. We cannot do this work without you, so please join me in thanking our generous sponsors, some of their names behind me, including our table sponsors, our Dorothy Day sponsors, our Father Kennard sponsor, Family Care Health, who is right in front of me, the Ed Quadero Fund, and our Legacy Club sponsor, our legacy sponsor, Fortis Construction, right over here, Robbie Fallow and his group. These are the folks that built the downtown kitchen and facility, and we thank Robbie and his crew for being here today. I also want to take a minute and thank Meg Stark. Where are you, Meg Stark? Way in the back. And her staff, Julie Showers. There are many on that group that put this together, and I'm telling you, this is a great event, but it's a lot of work, and thank you, Meg and her staff. I'd like to also recognize our founding families who have made Blanchet House a part of their lives for generations. We are deeply grateful for the commitment of the Phelps family, the Harrington family, the Christensen family, the Moore family, the McGinnis family, the Riley family, the Collins family, the Sinnott family, and the Petrosich family for all of their work and their dedication. But of course, we want to recognize and thank the O'Hanlons, who have long served our neighbors in need. I see that Jim O'Hanlon is right here in front of us and with us today. Jim, thank you for your leadership, your service, and the legacy you helped build. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim O'Hanlon, our remaining founder, 98 years young. Wave your, there you go. And our board wants to acknowledge outgoing Executive Director Scott Kerman for his leadership and vision over the last 5 years. We are grateful for his commitment to our community and the growth of Blanchet House experience under his guidance. Scott built a strong leadership team and positioned the organization for lasting positive impact. Because of that foundation, we are stepping confidently into a new chapter for our nearly 75-year organization. Also here today are with me some fellow board members. If you are currently on our board governing committee or emeritus board, we ask that you please stand and accept our recognition and thanks. We have an outstanding board and an outstanding supportive emeritus board. We're honored to have many elected leaders with us today, including Oregon Governor Tina Kotek and First Lady Amy Kotek Wilson here today. Governor, I'm glad that Amy talked you into coming again this year. Thank you. Also with us, Congresswoman Suzane Bonamici, State Representative Shannon Isidore, State Senator Lisa Reynolds, somewhere, and Metro Councilor Juan Carlos Gonzalez. Thank you for being here. Also, we cannot do this work with our nonprofit peers. Please stand if you work at the nonprofit or Blanchet House. Thank you for your service to others. There we go. So much has happened since we gathered here last year. It's been a difficult chapter for many across our country. At Blanchet House, we felt the impact of reduced aid for our neighbors in need. and we served a record-breaking amount of meals in the cafe. How about a round of applause for you, our volunteers, our staff, our residents? Record number of years. There was good too. We opened up a state-of-the-art metal shop out at the farm, and we built a refuge for where women can sleep safely at night. You're going to hear more about Bethany's Room. From Blanchet House to Blanchet Farm to our new women's shelter, Bethany's Room, we're doing more than ever to help our community. But let's take a quick look.
Every day, people in our communities face challenges that feel impossible to escape, and far too many face them alone.
Blanchet House is a beacon of hope where people find community, stability, and a way forward.
Most people know Blanchet House for its free cafe, one of the busiest meal providers in the nation.
6 days a week, the organization welcomes people from all walks of life to sit and dine.
Volunteers serve them as valued guests, offering a moment of comfort in lives often marked by uncertainty.
It's more than a meal. It's dignity, connection, and the strength people need to keep going.
But the cafe is only one part of the work.
Upstairs, a transitional housing program provides a safe, stable place for 50 men to rebuild their lives.
Residents focus on healing, recovery, and next steps, supported by staff, peers, and a community that believes in second chances.
An hour away, Blanchet Farm offers a one-of-a-kind addiction recovery experience.
It's a special place where participants care for animals, grow food, and learn new skills that help rebuild confidence and purpose.
At the farm, healing happens through routine, nature, and meaningful work.
Bethany's Room is Blanchet's overnight shelter for women, offering safety and stability for women who have nowhere else to go and too few safe options.
It's a long-needed addition to Portland's response to homelessness.
Across all of its services, Blanchet is helping more people than ever before with more meals, more clothing, more shelter, and more connection.
And the lines continue to grow.
Blanchet House can stand with people facing their hardest moments because volunteers, partners, and private donors stand with the organization.
Their compassion fuels every meal, every bed, and every act of care.
For more than 70 years, Blanchet House has been here for Oregon.
With community support, it can meet the rising need and create even more pathways to hope, stability, and a better future.
What you just saw is life-saving work. And it's only possible because people like you care enough to support it. It leaves me feeling deeply grateful that you're here today. Now it's my honor to welcome to the stage a true advocate for our mission, Congresswoman Suzane Bonamici, who will share a few words about how together we can continue to make meaningful impact. Congresswoman Bonamici.
Thank you so much, Rich, for the kind words, and good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's an honor to be with you today. I represent Oregon's 1st Congressional District, which is the northwest 1/6 part of the state, including Blanchet House, the Portland Art Museum where we are today, and also Bethany's Room. And for many years, I also had the farm in the district. And I tell you, if you haven't been out to that farm, you should visit because it is so meaningful to see how life-changing it is. What an opportunity. I want to give a special shout out to my friends Malin and Dan Petrosich and the whole Petrosich family. I know they've been such long-time supporters of Blanchet House. And greetings from my colleague Maxine Dexter as well. And thank you, Steve and Emily, for your leadership and for bringing Blanchet House together, bringing us here today to celebrate not only Blanchet House, but the farm and Bethany's Room, and to acknowledge what a difference they make to Oregonians. And the work of this incredible organization really reminds us of the power of hope and our collective ability to make a difference, even in, and especially in, challenging times. And this is a challenging time for our community and for our country. And I tell you, I'm very grateful to be with you today with so many people who are dedicated to serving others and doing so with compassion. We've seen a lot of chaos in the last couple of years and disruptive government, and that's increasing the demand on nonprofit organizations to step up. When you combine that with funding cuts, it really makes the work of community organizations so much more important. And it's happening at a time when they're often asked to do more with less. So thank you for being here today to support Blanchet House. And we saw the response in November with the cuts to SNAP benefits. Well, Blanchet House extended its serving hours so everyone in line could get a plate and have food to eat. And now we have an administration that is seeking to divide us, to paint people who are homeless or immigrants or part of the LGBTQ community as other. And Blanchet House has really met the moment with a commitment to this radical hospitality to welcome everyone and to say through your programs and through your actions and words that you are welcome. You matter. You belong here. And I've seen these values in action. I have seen these values in action when my team and I, my staff and I, have served meals with volunteers at Blanchet House. And I've seen these values in action when I toured the farm. And I've seen these values in actions when I joined you just recently to celebrate the opening of Bethany's Room not too long ago. And thank you, Jim, for your words there. So I serve in Congress as the co-chair of the Congressional Caucus on Homelessness, and I know that we need short-term and long-term solutions to keep people sheltered, safe, and stable. And organizations like Blanchet House are a key part of that strategy, offering rest, stability, and a path forward rooted in dignity and care. So being here with you today is inspiring and it's hopeful because of Blanchet House, your staff, your board of directors, and everyone here who is continuing to show up for Oregonians, especially during challenging times. And please know that I will continue to do everything I can to protect important federal programs and the resources that you need to keep doing your essential work. Because I know that nonprofit organizations like Blanchet House help communities thrive. And that, in the words of the late, great Senator Paul Wellstone, we all do better when we all do better. So thank you, Blanchet House, for the work that you do every day. I am proud to be your partner in this ongoing and important work. Thank you again.
Thank you, Congresswoman Bonamici, for your inspiring words and for being an advocate for our community on the national stage. We're sorry that Congresswoman Dexter could not be here today, but she sends her best wishes, and we thank her for her support as well. It's a great honor to have Governor Tina Kotek here today. Her support to expand access to health care, strengthen mental health and addiction services, increase food access, and bold housing strategies supports the well-being of Oregons far and wide. Please join me in welcoming Governor Kotek to the stage.
Thank you, Rich. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Congresswoman Bonamici and Congresswoman Dexter and all those. I think one of the things we have to remember here in Oregon is that we have a tremendous team fighting for us in Washington, D.C. every single day, so thank you. The First Lady and I are really honored to be here this morning. The First Lady was here last year and came home so inspired by the work that Blanchet does, and we all need hope and inspiration every day in our lives, and particularly now. So we are both very happy to be here because of what Blanchet House and their shelter and their housing and the farm does. We are big fans, have been for years, and so we're very pleased to be here. Both of us want to thank the entire Blanchet family. That's the staff, the volunteers, the donors, everyone who comes together to make sure Blanchet can serve people who need a helping hand, and also speaking up when other things need to happen in our community. So thank you all for being part of that supportive family. I had the opportunity to meet Mr. O'Hanlon this morning. Thank you, Jim, for your ongoing leadership on behalf of Blanchet. As you know, one of the founding members of Blanchet House. And to carry that mission forward for nearly 3/4 of a century, and all of the families, founding families, their families, the family approach to Blanchet, thank you for your leadership over the years. It's amazing. I think many of you know that the Blanchet House of Hospitality began and was inspired by the Catholic Worker Movement and Dorothy Day. And I read the Catholic Worker regularly when I was in college and have never forgotten the teachings of the Catholic Worker Movement and what it means to help our neighbors with dignity, with respect. When they need the help the most, how we treat each other as human beings has always stayed with me in the teachings of Dorothy Day. The houses of hospitality, as you know, are designed to be those community spaces where people who are experiencing some very difficult things, whether they are experiencing homelessness or are housed but are isolated or are living in situations where they need a place to be, houses of hospitality like Blanchet House are the places where you can find food and shelter and dignity and respect. And you are all supporting that with your presence and with your work. And that makes Oregon a very special place. So thank you for being part of that. We are really fortunate to have Blanchet House and the farm and the transitional beds helping our community through very challenging times. The work is practical, it's immediate, and it's those simple things, that meal served with dignity, that conversation with a staff person, or just someone across the table that you can have a few moments of peace to have a personal conversation. The humanity, the belonging of what happens every 6 days a week at Blanchet House here in downtown Portland. Those simple things can change the trajectory of a life and are absolutely needed now more than ever. What I can tell you is Oregon needs every solution, every partner coming to the table to make sure our neighbors have what they need. It's not just the public sector, it's not just the private sector, it's everyone working together. So we can make sure none of our neighbors are experiencing homelessness or isolation. Everyone needs someone to care about them, and that is what Blanchet House provides. We also, and what I am fighting for, are those bigger things that we need as a state, more housing. Housing that is affordable for people to live. We need to build housing, we need to support people, we need to make sure people have access to the health care they need, when they need it, where they need it. And I want to shout out to the First Lady who's been working on making sure we have the behavioral health workforce to help serve people, because that is important. And I can let you know, as your governor and as your chief advocate here in the state of Oregon, that I am not going to relent. And I want to thank you last year when the Trump administration, in an inhumane way, was going to cut off SNAP benefits here. And they did. Benefits stopped. Food assistance benefits that mattered here in the state stopped. And people stepped up and said, we're going to continue to feed people while we work on those benefits. And I can tell you, on the night that we found out that the court said those benefits should flow and they should be going to the states, I was sitting in my car at about 6 o'clock at night, and my staff is like, we can turn these benefits on tonight. The court said yes, should we go? And we said yes, and that night, before midnight, people had SNAP benefits back on their cards so they could buy groceries with dignity. And now we have Bethany's room. I cannot thank you enough for being part of the work that is being done here in the city and across the state to provide shelter, and the work that is being done in the overnight shelters like Bethany's room and in day services as well, making sure people have a place to be where they are supported, and to have, knowing that more women who are living outside have a place to go because of all of your work. I just want to say thank you. So incredibly important. It's dangerous to be outside, and women need these beds, and you are providing that for them through your generosity and your commitment and your dedication to your neighbors, and I thank you for that. What I also know that across the state of Oregon, we are making progress because of people like you. Across our state, private organizations, organizations that don't have any public dollars whatsoever, organizations that do have a combination of private and public agencies are working together to make sure we have more shelter services, more supportive services, so our neighbors who are experiencing unsheltered homelessness have a place to go and have a transition. And we are making progress because of all of you, and I'm going to keep fighting for more shelters, more housing, more services, because that is the state we want to have. So thank you for everything you're doing here. I'm just going to close by saying, over nearly 75 years, Blanchet House has never waited for the perfect conditions, because there are no perfect conditions. We all have to act in the moment that we have in front of us. I'm not waiting for the perfect conditions. Blanchet's not waiting for the perfect conditions. The time to help people is now. We're all going to keep doing that together. And whether it's one meal, one bed, one smile, that is what it means to help our neighbors. And I'm glad to be part of this journey with you. And as your governor, we're going to keep fighting this and make sure we have the state we need to have for everyone who needs, who is here. So thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and keep supporting Blanchet House and the farm. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for being here today. And she mentioned it, and I think I'm going to bring it up now. I was going to wait to the end. But probably the only person in this room that was part of the Blanchet House on February 11th, 1952, when the first meal was bread, coffee, and beans, is Mr. Jim O'Hanlon. And I hope that all of you, Governor, Congresswoman, I hope that you're here next year, and we're going to celebrate big time our 75th anniversary. And Jim, you come back, you blow out the candles for the cake. So change came in many forms this year, including new leadership. But our purpose stayed the same, to offer help and hope. We have a strong team leading Blanchet House, guided by deep commitment to serve others. Over the past months, that's meant long days and shared responsibilities as co-interim directors. Their dedication to our mission and to the people we serve is inspiring. Please join me in welcoming our interim directors, Emily Coleman and Steve Cook, to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Emily Coleman, and along with Steve here, I have the honor of serving as one of our co-interim executive directors right now. Though we've both been with the Blanchet House for a couple of years, I know that we're new faces to many, and we're certainly new faces up on this stage. So we thought we'd use this opportunity to introduce ourselves a bit and tell you about how we came to be a part of the larger Blanchet House community. I first became a part of the Blanchet community as a volunteer, as with many of us, back in the fall of 2019. I've always been an active volunteer, and there were a lot of reasons that I wanted to get involved as a volunteer here. But my main reason for seeking a new activity at that point is that I was grieving after a pretty big life transition and looking for a distraction, maybe a way to redefine myself and find a new community. My husband and I had been fostering 2 children, a brother and a sister, for a few years, and we thought we might be there forever home. They were eventually able to be reunited with their mother, someone who'd also struggled and fought her way back from homelessness and addiction. And in so many ways, that was a happy ending. Much as we celebrated her success and our kids' joy in returning to their mom, still, we grieved that loss. And I grieved my role as a mother. And I was looking for a new community to support with all the time I suddenly had on my hands. Coming to Blanchet House was a really important part of that healing journey for me. I felt like I'd lost my identity to a certain extent and needed somewhere to put all of that mom energy and all of that time, especially in the mornings. The community I found here, starting as a breakfast volunteer, proved absolutely invaluable to me at that difficult point. Primarily because I was one of so many people at Blanchet House on a unique journey to redefine themselves and to find a new community to be a part of. As I got to know the residents and guests in the cafe and commiserate with their struggles to move on from a place of difficulty, I felt the power of Blanchet House. I felt the fierce compassion and care for the community that our staff bring to their roles every day and that I got to be a part of as a volunteer. That power began to work its magic on me as well. I was hooked, and I started coming in to volunteer several times a week. When the pandemic hit and a lot of volunteers had to take a step back from service, I started coming in every single morning. I'd found a new routine and a new community that fed my soul in a way that I just hadn't anticipated. I've been involved in nonprofit work my entire adult life and in homeless services in Old Town for about 20 years. But there was something different about Blanchet House. The relationship between staff and residents and guests, the care that we take not to make services just feel dignified, but to make them beautiful. It was different from anything I'd ever seen at other agencies, and it was so inspiring to me. When the opportunity to take a leadership role in the organization presented itself a few years later, I was excited but hesitant. I loved my job at the time, but the opportunity to step into a new role and a bigger one at an agency that I had come to feel so at home in was too good not to try for. That step too changed my life for the better. I have had the opportunity to grow as a leader myself, but more importantly, I've had the opportunity to help shape the growth of this incredible organization. I've gotten to lead incredible teams who run our kitchen and cafe as they meet the increasing need on our streets. Our residential program, helping men stabilize and find new pathways to sobriety, to permanent housing. And our new shelter, Bethany's Room, a program that I got to help plan from the ground up. A shelter that is now providing safe, supportive shelter for women, over 40 of them now in just our third week of service every night. I've been inspired anew during those opening weeks at our shelter, working the closing shift alongside our new staff and getting to hear from our guests every morning as they wake, enjoy some morning hospitality, and get ready to start their days. Hearing those guests tell us how well they slept, how comfortable they feel in that space, has just been really heartwarming. I couldn't have imagined this role for myself all those years ago when I came in to serve my first plate of breakfast at 6 o'clock one November morning, feeling so adrift and in need of a new direction. I'm really glad that I found it here. I'm glad too that the stars aligned to bring my path and my colleague Steve Cook's together. A lot of you might not know this, but we actually worked together at our last job as well, the job I agonized over leaving for Blanchet House. As you might imagine, I talked at work rather a lot about my mornings volunteering at Blanchet House. And I like to think I might have something to do with Steve getting interested and eventually coming in to volunteer at Blanchet as well. Really glad that I did, because I could not imagine a better partner to share this new responsibility and privilege with. Steve?
Thanks, Emily. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Steve, as Emily mentioned, and I have the privilege of serving as one of Blanchet House's 2 interim executive directors. And I'm excited to share you a little bit of my story about how I came here to Blanchet House. 2 years ago, I had 1 foot out the door from Portland altogether. Before moving here, I had spent 10 years of my life living abroad, doing nonprofit work, serving in poor neighborhoods in big cities, living in remote communities in the jungle, and moving from country to country, wherever there was a need and really a next big adventure. After returning to the States and living for a couple of years in Portland, I still hadn't found my place, my community, and I was restless. In fact, I was already bringing my boxes of things to Goodwill and mentally counting down the weeks until I could pack up my car and move somewhere with a little less rain and find somewhere else and with another adventure to live. Until one day I got an email that changed the course of my life. As Emily mentioned, she'd been telling me about Blanchet House, and I even spent some time volunteering and I was blown away at the welcome that I experienced walking in the doors. I remember coming back to the team at the time and saying, "You're right, there's something special and different about the folks at Blanchet." A little while later, I applied to lead the volunteer team, or excuse me, the fundraising team, and I was very sure I was not going to get the job. In fact, after my final interview, I'd never done this before. I went home and I unsubscribed from Blanchet House on all my social media because I knew that if I didn't get the job, the next time I went online, I would be heartbroken thinking of Blanchet House and missing the opportunity. But then one day I got an email, and the headline just read, "Congratulations, welcome to Blanchet House." I was beyond elated. And in that email were many of the things that you typically see in a job offer. But there was one line that stood out to me, and it still stands out to me today. "We have great confidence that you will excel as a member of our community." I think that's the message the Blanchet House offers every single person who walks into our doors. No questions asked. That you are welcome as you are, that you will find what you need and find people that love and care for you. You know, we all have our own stories experiencing that welcome. For some, like Emily and I, many of you, you were welcomed first as a volunteer, giving back to your community and feeling connected to something, to a mission that's larger than yourself. Many are welcomed on cold mornings, when they just need a hot cup of coffee and a good meal before bracing for the day. Some are welcome to rest, to find sobriety, to find healing and meaningful work, whether that's cooking meals in the kitchen or feeding goats and chickens out at the farm. That message of welcome is the same to all who enter in. That regardless of where you come from, what your faith background is, what your legal status is, or whether or not the world seems to pass you right on by and make you feel invisible, Blanchet House for over 74 years has declared loudly and with open arms, you are welcome here. And for the past 3 weeks now, thanks to the efforts and generosity of many people in this room, that welcome has been extended to Northwest Portland for women looking for safe rest and good sleep at Bethany's Room. You know, I had the privilege to be at Bethany's Room on the very first night it opened 3 weeks ago. I got there about an hour early, and as I was walking up to the building, I saw that there was one person already in line, an older woman all by herself leaning over on a walker. I walked over and said hello. She said hello. I asked her name, and for this, we'll call her Miss Peggy. And Miss Peggy asked me if there was anywhere that she could sit down. She'd been on her walker all day long, and she was tired. And our staff, even though it was an hour before they were supposed to open, they opened the doors early to our very first guest. And collectively, it's as if they said, "Come on in, Miss Peggy. Let's get you off your feet. Welcome to Bethany's Room. We're glad that you're here. We have confidence that you will do well as a part of our community." You know, we got to chat with Miss Peggy a little bit more that night. We found that she was 72 years old. The same age as my mother. In a time when many of us are blessed to be celebrating the golden years of life, making memories with grandkids, and spending more time at the cabin than at the office, Miss Peggy is thinking every single night about where she's going to rest her head to sleep. She shared with us that she used to sleep in a tent. And before that, she slept in the woods. And before that, she slept underneath the bridge. And after settling in, Miss Peggy looked around. She said, this place just feels like home. And in the weeks following, we have heard from other Bethany's Room guests. One said, "They treat us like gold here." Another one said, "Blanchet House has raised the bar for overnight shelter in Portland." And still a third said, "You don't know how much this place means to me." As a woman trying to find compassion